Right. And the Honorable Member, Mr. Mahi Paul, you're absolutely correct about private members. Absolutely correct. I got caught up with, the transactions, Honorable members, we now look at Agency 16, and I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 16, Program 161, Policy Development and Administration, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, through you, sir, could the Honorable Minister disaggregate the sum at line item 6291?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. To the honorable member, 6291 National Order Events. This sum caters for Mashramani, for Pago celebrations, whatever other celebrations that we focus on the ministry. And also, we have some support we usually give to, such as Upper Mazruni District Games and the assistance for Expo Rodeo, that's the Rupununi Rodeo, etc. And under this sum also would be the hosting of the National Two Shows Council Conference.
Thank you, Ms. Chair. A
Go
follow-up
ahead.
on that. Could the minister say specifically how much is allocated for the Upper Mazroni District Games?
Honorable Minister.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. We have always given $3 million towards the Upper Maz District Games, and we'll continue to support this year.
Thank you, Minister. MP Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could the minister turn her attention to line item 6242?
Just let me check and see if the Honorable Member Campbell wanted to follow up on that. Okay, go ahead.
I yield to.
He recognizes you can't feel.
Go ahead, Director.
6242, maintenance of building, 31 million. Could the minister identify which building is being allocated for here?
Thank you,
Minister.
Mr. Chair, honorable member. We usually have 5 buildings that we usually maintain, but this sum will go towards the head office, the Amrinian Village in Sophia, the residence, that's the hostel, and the Hinterland Scholarship Dorm, as well as our tertiary dorm.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member
Allocation.
Finance.
Thank you, sir. Just a follow-up. You said the hostel, the same hostel that is being catered for in the capital also?
Minister?
Mr. Chair, this would cater for the existing Amrinian hostel. As you know, it's a very old building at this time, and there's always breakage, and we have to do continuous maintenance, so this sum caters for that.
Okay. And could the minister also state, thank you for that response, Minister. Could you also state whether or not the hostel in Region 1, any part of this allocation is going towards the hostel in Region 1 or the one in Region 7?
Thank you very much, honorable member. The only hostel that's currently being budgeted for under the ministry is the residence at Princess Street.
Thank you, Minister.
Okay.
Honorable Member Campbell.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Minister, refer to line item 6111, administrative, and it shows 8 staff for 2025 and 8 staff for 2026. I see no increase in staff, and I'm wondering whether the 8 is adequate. And the reason that I'm wondering about that is that I know that there has been a request by the Upper Mazaruni 8 villages to have an Upper Mazaruni District Council. I'm coming on the line item 6111. So I'm wondering whether the staffing is adequate, because a written request was submitted by 8 village councils, all within the same geographical coherence, no overlap in district memberships. And my understanding is this is delayed due to the failure of the minister to issue an order and gazette. So is it that the ministry has adequate administrative staff? And if they do, what is the reason for the delay for applications such as that which is being put forward by the 8 villages for the Upper Macedonia District Council?
Mr. Chairman,
Go
to
ahead,
the
Honorable
honorable
Minister.
member, this budget in its entirety does not support any district council in the country, and it doesn't have provision for any staff, neither is there funding for any of the district councils.
May I have a
Honorable
follow-up?
member, go ahead.
So is that the reason why the minister, the honorable minister, has not issued the order and gazetted the application by the UMDC, because you don't have a budget for it?
Mr. Speaker, can the honorable member relate to the line item under which this line of questioning is he's relating to?
I have done so at least twice, 6111. I'm wondering whether there
And
is.
again, sir, that doesn't fall under this line item. And I've said that we don't budget for any of the district councils. The Amerindian Act is clear, and you read the section with district councils, you will see what it says there.
Honorable
Honorable member, Mr. Campbell.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm trying to ascertain, an application has been put forward that meets all the criteria for the issuance of, for them to be approved as a district council. For some reason, it has been stalled. And so I'm asking whether it is an issue of administration, not having enough people to process the application. All the honorable minister has to say that is not the reason, or it is the reason.
Honorable member, Mr. Campbell, you ask a question and any other member asks a question, and the minister answering prefers an answer. Whether she is wrong, he is wrong, or right, that's the answer in some parliaments. When the ministers don't want to answer, they say it will cost too much. Honorable Minister, you want to respond? No?
No, sir, I think I would have answered adequately in this. The Amerindian Act is clear, and we'll report that for guidance.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Dr. Campbell. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 16, Program 161, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Just checking to see that we have a quorum. Let us turn to page 520. You want to join in changing the Constitution? (520), and I propose the question that the sum stated for Program 16, 161, Agency 16, capital expenditure now stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Could the Honorable Minister turn our attention to line item 1214,500? And could the Minister say for the provision for hostel and upgrading of facilities, if the upgrading of facilities include the hostel in Region 1 and Region 7?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, I think I would have already answered this question, that this budget in its entirety, it doesn't, has never had, there's never been any provision, and there's not a line item for this, for the hostels in the regions, whether it's region 1 to 10. And so this budget, it's not in this budget.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member,
Thank you,
Ms.
Minister.
Finance.
Could the Honorable Minister say what a direct figure out of this total allocation, what will be going towards the hostel?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So from this total sum that's allocated, we're going to be having to the current existing Amerindian hostel. There is some monies there for upgrade to the things like cupboards in all of the wards, and a part of the ceiling that has to be done. There's provisions to that, and also constructing walls and shelves in the stores, and also that's oh, sorry, the Amerindian residence. Yeah, so there's two. One would be the Amerindian residence. We'll be, under this line item, we'll be upgrading the cupboards. So what I just said would have been on the other facilities that we have. So the one for the Amerindian hostel at Princess Street, all we're doing here on the capital is we're going to be upgrading the cupboards to commercial grade cupboards. And for the new construction of the new Amerindian hostel, there's a sum, as I said in my budget speech, of $500 million that will be used to start the new building, a new building.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank
MP
you, sir.
Finance.
Could the minister kindly say what would be the location of the new building?
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we currently have several areas that are identified, about 3 potential locations. We're yet to see the most suitable depending on factors such as accessibility. And when we have made a final decision on the location, the public will also be informed.
Thank you, Minister.
Could the minister say through you, sir, the capacity that the new building is looking to accommodate?
Minister.
Thank you very much, sir. And so we having, as existing now in the current building, we have 3 wards, one for male, female, there's prenatal. We're hoping to add, of course, more rooms. I have a potential, a preliminary design at this time that we're working with.
Thank you, Minister.
Uh,
MP Finance.
I was just trying to get if there was any specific number that we're looking at, given that we already have a costing for the building. We should be able to have a fair idea of how many persons the building will be able to accommodate, if that is possible. If you can divide a male or female or together.
Yeah, so at any given time, we're hoping to have at least 350 persons.
350?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable
Could-
members. Go ahead.
Continuing, sir, thank you. Could the Honorable Minister turn her attention to line item 24067000? Under this, could the Honorable Minister say, give the locations or the villages more so that would be benefiting from this allocation?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So this is program 1, and this program is policy development and administration. And so this is not for villages. This is for the ministry.
Minister.
Thank you. Honorable member. Honorable member, Mr. Mahi Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, may I take the Honorable Minister's attention back today? The new Amerindian hostel that is earmarked to begin with the cost of $500 million. The Honorable Minister was kind enough to say that there are 3 possible locations that they're looking at. May I ask the Honorable Minister, where are these 3 possible locations? And if the land is land that they will have to acquire from the state through Guyana Lands and Survey Commission, or does it belong to the government, as in government land?
Honorable Minister.
Yes, thanks, Ms. Chair. And so I was advised that it's different agencies that currently these lands would fall under, and depending on which we choose, then we'll have to look at the AD under which agency these land will have to be acquired from.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Chairman, is it possible for the Honorable Minister to tell us where are the three possible locations, if as in the village at least?
Mr. Chair, it's going to be in Georgetown. We're looking around the areas available along the highways where we can have access maybe to the hospital, more easier access.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
haven't seen the land personally as yet, but it's there.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, may I ask the Honorable Minister, in terms of the specs for the construction, the arrival of 500 million, and in terms of the modernization of the building, fire, escape, and all the other safety measures that we are expected to put in place to cater for unfortunate hazards if they should occur. And so, like they for water, sprinklers, and all the other things, fire extinguisher, all of these are incorporated into the design for the construction of this building.
Minister?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So to give, to avoid all the back and forth, I'll give a brief overview of what this $500 million is for. And so the $500 million, it's we have, as I said, we have already a preliminary design. You know what that means. And so what we'll have to do is we'll have to get with the public tender, whereby a consultant will have to be identified through the public tendering process to do the detailed drawings. That's how much pile got to drive, etc. How much windows, more detailed. When we get that, this money should be able to take us at least. We'll have money to mobilization to begin the construction.
My final question, Mr. Chairman, on this
Go ahead.
item, is it going to be how many stories will the building have? Because I heard you speaking about pile driving and so on. How high will it be going?
Minister?
Yes, so we're looking at 2 stories.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for agent-
Sir, before you put the question on.
Go ahead.
Thank you. On line item, project code for the outboard engine and all-terrain vehicles. Reference number 70. The project code, sir, is 2406700. Land and water transport. I see a sum here of 12,100,000, and it says provision for vehicle, boats, and engines. May I ask the Honorable Minister if this caters for all the indigenous communities that use, that will be using in some cases boat and engines in the respective areas, and all-terrain vehicles for other areas?
Minister?
Thank you very much again, Mr. Chair. I think I would have already answered this question as posed by Honorable Member Finance, where I said that this is Program 1, and this will be for the staff.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't hear that answer. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency 16, Program 161, Capital Expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, as I am on page 20, I'll propose a question that, it's page 520. I'll propose a question that the sum stated for Agency 16, Program 162, Capital, stands part of the estimates. Yeah.
Thank
Honorable
you.
member, Ms. Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to be clear, we're looking at the community development and empowerment here, capital expenditure. Right, sir? Looking at line item 1400100. Could the minister identify for us what villages are expected to benefit from this allocation? And I know that we have the separation into three: the presidential grant, the youth entrepreneurship and apprenticeship program, and the Amerindian development project and program. Could the minister say how much of the allocation is going to which, and which villages are expected to benefit from the allocation?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and we're happy that we have been given again $5 billion in the Amerindian Development Fund to support all of the villages of the hinterland. And as I would have mentioned in my speech, this fund, it really goes a far way in ensuring that the villages benefit outside of all the funding they're getting. And so this year, the ADF will look at education and awareness. As I mentioned in my budget speech as well, that the Amerindian Act, we're at the first phase, that's education and awareness on the revision of the Act. And so we have money set aside for that. And our presidential grants will, of course, be supporting this year 254 villages. That's every single village across the region that we usually support. And of course, you don't want me to list it out, but what will this presidential grant be used for? It'll be used to fund projects such as sustainable farming, poultry, transportation, or other projects that the village themselves are comfortable in executing. Of course, it's at the request of the village. We don't basically dictate how they spend their monies. We allocate the sum to them, and they, at their general village meeting, they decide how the monies are spent on the presidential grant. Basically, it's all villages have what we call a village sustainable plan, and they have a list of maybe where they want to see the village in 10 years, and they use these kind of funds to look at in priority the projects that they want to have in the villages. This fund also caters for the CSO program. That's both the stipend, which again, I'm happy to see we have increased this stipend to now $50,000. And so there is the sum in the budget in the ADF to offset that expense. Also, we'll do continuous. We have already trained our CSOs. We have a sum here for continuous training of our CSOs. And of course, the other areas, of course, by the request of villages. So what happens is usually at NTC, the Tushas come to Georgetown and they sit for about 5 days with no lesser than His Excellency the President himself. And of course, all the other ministers of government who are here every day, and basically they ask for an order of priority, the needs of the villages, and they let us know, and we try as much as possible to ensure that most of it is captured outside of the grants, outside of the LCDS, that we put some of the projects into the Amerindian Development Fund. This
Thank
year,
you, Minister.
we're going to be doing youth empowerment to benefit would be Citrus Grove, Region 1, laundromat, garment production, Wanakai, Santa Rosa, Port Kaituma, Campbelltown, Monkey Mountain, Ishalton, Anai. These are for women's project. We have Wongna, we have St. Denis, we have Karawab, Yupkari, and these are projects such as bakery shops, art and craft, depending on the requests from the villages and what the women want. Then we have sewing centers too. We'll continue with those in Barasaina, Maracabay, Wax Creek, Penac, Quatamang, Yacarinta, Bamboo Creek, Waipa, Santa Rosa, Waramadong, Siparuta, Agatash, and I also forgot Beauty Care Center, also fall under the support for women. We have sawmilling to do in Tasserine, 47 miles, Wairuni, a mechanic project in Walaba, Keto, woodworking, and these are youth projects now. In woodworking, we'll look at St. Monica, Maikobi, Kotata, Reverse View, Toka, Waweta, Mabaruma, St. Cuthbert's Mission, Chiang Maud. Agriculture, two shade house. The shade houses are Kamwata, Kairuni, Arsawa, Kwaiko, Tiperu, Paipang, Toka, Katunarib, Quarry, and Parapi. And of course, we have some there for us to have when we finish building these shade houses, that we train the CSOs or those identified by the village council to be able to operate training in shade house technology. Some for that, and we'll also look at farming projects in 7 Mile Branch Road, Parkees, Waikaribi, Tobago, Anabisi, High Macabra, Three Brothers, Wakapau, Parima, Kaibarupai, Bashville, Waipa, Bamboo Creek, Taruka, Kakshabai, Paipang, Tipiro, Taushida, Para, Karasabay, Tiger Pond, and Katur, Kokrit, Asakata, Tobago, Imbatero, Barmita, Wax Creek, Kortuku, Arrow, Karsparo, Itabak, Bamboo Creek, Shiriri, Taushida, Parbara, and Rupanao. Support for cattle rearing on the request of villages again. Kaikan, Kaibarupai, Tusining, and Shulinab. Poultry projects again for young people in Laluni, Rincon, High Macabra, Conishin, Yarakita, Manawarin on water project, Can Hill and Fly Hill, Ruparti, Merawau, and Coles production at Shia. For tourism, we're going to be supporting Cariaco, Kibana, Akiwini, Lower Bonasica, Saxakali, Aro, Kaburi, Korokabaru, Quatamang, Aishalton, Apateri, Sand Creek, Rukamutu, and Masara, as well as Warmuri, Saxakali, Tigerbone, Banakari, Storama, Kako, Paramakatoy, Great Falls, Kopinang, Rockstone, St. Ignatius. Agro-processing, Asakata, Kimbia, and of course, Village Benabs, and this will be made out of Chuli as well for culture. So we'll have Village Benab at Kapui, Circuitville, Cashew Island, Itabak, Arsawa, Kako, Kokshabay, Apateri, Crowdarno, Simoni, Baitun, Katunarib, Anay, Aishalton. Sports facility, Baramita, High Macabra, Eclipse Falls, Santa Rosa, Cobrimo, St. Denis, Tapakuma, Bashaizon, Falmouth, and community building at Smith Creek, Whitewater, Tasserine, Red Creek, Quarry, Merawau, Kwaiko, Village Office, Barima Coriabo, Kortuku, Chenapau, Ruperti, Shalinab, Park Warno, Wiki Kalkuni, support for sports development, Pavilion, Cartabo, Chinowing, Abao, Princeville, Taruka, Rukamutu, Tiger Pond, St. Ignatius, Great Falls, Moblisa, Ibini, Mortaro, Paramakatoy, Oriala, Monkey Mountain. Floodlights or grounds will help to support some of these as well, while we acknowledge a lot is being done by the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport. It's 254 villages, and we have to support as well, because Ministry of Culture also has the entire coastland, the entire Guyana. So the more, we're happy for the support. At 2 miles shortcut, 1 mile, Mabruma, Wanaina, Canal Bank, St. Denis, Mainstay, Saxakali, Jawala, Oriala, Paramakatoy, Kopinang, Karasparu, Kanapang, Arnaputa, Sawarawao, Pataranao, Yakarinta, Wiki Kalkuni, and Kimbia. Catwalks at Kokrit, Kako, Riwa, Karya, and Kapui. Farm to market, Litakanabali, Mashabo, Hayawa, Kaikombe, Katoka, Conishen, that's Masakaneri or Guns as we know it, Reverse View. And we'll help at sanitary facilities. Sanitary facilities, we'll be looking to support this year. Jawala, Bashville, Rukamutu, Yurangparu, Achewib, Parabara, Conishin, Murunao, Shia. Bridges again, we look at helping Ambamadai, Kamana, and Crashwater. And settlement, Mabruma settlement, fencing of the guest house. We look at Mabruma settlement, El Paso, Mironao, and to support for and support for kitchen and dining hall. We look at Red Hill, Savannah Blackwater, Barima Blackwater, Lower Kaituma, Arwansa, Karawab, Kabakaburi, St. Cuthbert's Mission, Calhoun, Philippi, Bamboo Creek, Itabak, Kamana, Kaibarupai, Paramakatoy, Taushida, Parashara, Bashaizan, for the 7 miles, and Great Falls. We look at street help with solar, street lights for Pawaikuru, Sugar Hill, Whitewater, Laluni, Cashew Island, Carisparu, Red Creek, Arsawa, Tumong, and we'll be helping Kururu with trestle and also a generator hut for Rockstone. And of course, we have given in the past, we've given tractor to every single village in the hinterland, over 216 tractors we've given to villages across the hinterland to help with agriculture. And this year again, we'll be helping Yarakita, Whitewater. That's both ends of Whitewater. There's 2 ends, as you know. We'll be giving one to the Blackwater end and one to the Arakuru end, and Amakokopai, Chinapong, Chinapau, and Mabura. And while we give these tractors, we get complaints that sometimes we go to villages that they use a tractor, maybe a part break, and they need a little bit of help with fixing it, not total overhaul, etc. With little support, with little filter, little tire go by, yes, those kind of things. We have a little sum here to help all these villages if they want to get help. We'll be able to have some support, and also for the freezer, or we'll be given a freezer canter to Sawarwao, because Sawarwao, they do livestock farming and so on. They have and they're currently constructing their meat center, and so they need this canter now to help them to have their frozen meat and stuff to take to other neighboring villages for sale. As I said, we'll look at language preservation as well. We have always supported the ministry support for, let's say, culture groups. We will continue that by helping with culture groups in the villages by request. If they ask for a little keyboard here and there, we must have a little something to give them. We'll have that, or a little PA system depending on the nature. We'll have to get we usually get requests of support from teams, like if they have games, they want a little uniform, little sports gears. We have some money to support that as well. We put aside some money to that. And as requests come in, depends on the village. Persons would ask for things like chainsaw, a mist blower here and there, little cassava mill, black tanks, etc. Black tanks, not 4 black tanks, but there'll be black tanks if anybody is short of black tank, and they request. We would have had some money in here to at least help. And for those of us who are living in villages, sometimes we go into villages and we encounter sometimes persons who really need a little wheelchair that broke and they want it replaced. Or maybe they have a little fire in a village, a house, and they need 2 zinc to help to replace the zinc sheets and stuff. We have a sum to give those kind of support. It's not like a lot of money, but there's money, so we can be able to, on a one-off to help these kind of help with these kind of situations. I'm not done. And then we have more. We have generator set, Kyrie, which they would have requested from us, and Kangaruma, and some support for the network in Maracaibo. And way down we have transportation, and these are for economic projects. So some villages do tourism, they have their tourism projects, or some of them also do like rentals, like in the mountains they have ATVs where they would hire out. Depending if you want to hire at another village, you can, the main mode is the ATV there, which is, by the way, duty free now. So there's no taxes on that. But we have support for villages who have these kind of equipment that they want to use to make money as economic projects. We have Para, Walaba, Kebana, Barima, Coriabo, Big Creek, Kapui, And then there's Carwab, St. Monica, Laluni, Oriala, Camarang Warawata, Kachko, Mirawo, Taruka, Orndok, and then there's Red Creek. And of course, there are some villages who have, for example, they do transportation business, whether it's fetching sand or they just want to do transportation. We are supporting this year trucks for Arcaca, Princeville, Wiki Kalkuni, and of course, there's Bethany. Right? So we would have gotten, that's Santa Rosa. We all know of the current garbage. Well, Santa Rosa is outside of local government. So we heard Minister Priya Manik Chan said she's going to give garbage trucks. And so Santa Rosa wants to have a garbage truck so they can be able to pick up garbage at a small fee, or depending on how they decide. I can't dictate for them because, as I said, all of the projects here, it's for the villages. This entire $5 billion, it's for the villages, and again, at the request of the village. So we're going to support them with a garbage truck, as well as Campbelltown, who has the same issue, and St. Ignatius in Region 9. And the same thing what we said about the transportation. There is pickup to help with transportation business for 5-Star, Karau, Kaibarupai, Anai, Wairuni, Ibini, Malali, Kanta, for the same thing, for hire, at Orno, Circuitville, Parbara, Shia, and Rivers View. And that again brings us to the sum of $5 billion to support our indigenous people across the country from regions 1 to region 10.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Mr. Chair. A follow-up, sir. Thank you. Mr. Chair, I want to say that the minister took some time, which we appreciate, to call out all the villages that requested sums to do implement the various plans that they would have put forward. I want to ask the ministers, I'm going to ask two questions together. The first question is, how do we move these projects? When we talk about indigenous projects, throughout the years, you would see it just being community-based. What is the plan of the ministry? That's my first question. What's the plan of the ministry to actually move these projects and expand these business ventures for indigenous people, so it's just not stifled at the level of the community and just there to basically help daily bread and butter, so that indigenous people will be able to expand in business? That's my first question. My second question is, how is the ministry monitoring these projects to make sure that the projects are actually being implemented? Because you just went through a very long list.
Yes.
And it sounds very nice to the public and all of that. But then when I look at the volume 2, very much under the same program, I'm seeing here that proportion of villages implementing their village sustainable plan for 2025, it was just 125 out of 247. So it begs the question, and all the monies were spent based on the line item that we're looking at here. That said, for the money spent, it was 4,999,788,000. So how is it that all the monies were expended and only 125 plans were actually implemented out of the 247?
Minister?
Thank you for that question. And so if you would have listened to how I disaggregate the sum, you will realize that, like for example, the ATVs, the pickups, and all of these things that are for procurement, those will have to go to the National Tender Board for procurement. That money wouldn't go to the village. So the entire sum for the purchase of these capital items, it will have to go to NPTAB. It's actually a very good question you're asking, because if you look at social media, especially right now, you will see that, for example, villages are calling for audits, etc. So what we have done as a ministry is that we have developed a monitoring tool with the support of the Ministry of Government Implementation and Efficiency. We've created a monitoring tool, and this allows our field staff that every time they visit, that they ensure that they They keep a track of the projects so we can see real time which projects are behind and what's the intervention they need, whether it's intervention from the ministry, logistics, or advice. But to answer the first question, as a Minister of Amerindian Affairs, I think that a lot is expected of us, but the Amerindian Act is very clear. Villages are governed by an act, and if you were to read the Amerindian Act, you would see the word minister is mentioned in there about, how much time? Yes, so the Amerindian Act is, I could count it on this one side, right? The word minister isn't mentioned very often, and when it's mentioned, it's only as a last resort when all the other processes would have failed in terms of villages and how they manage. So Village Sustainable Plan, as I said, it's developed by the village. And but for us too, for example, if there is roads, as they see as something that has to be done, that can be captured under the Ministry of Public Works. Whether it's electricity, while we support, they have also the other agencies that support. Because like I said, villages, this is not all that's in the budget for us as Amerindians, but all the other agencies too have funding in there to benefit Amerindian villages.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I just want to, my first question, I didn't want it to get lost. I'm asking specifically because when we come to the National Assembly, Guyana, the landscape is changing. We have a lot more resources financially at our disposal as a country. So when we come to development projects and that we are looking to implement or to support within the various communities, I want to know what is, if the ministry has a plan when it comes to integrating the village plan at a national level. And if I can be more specific, you did go through agricultural projects in the various villages that you will be supporting there. And we do know also when it comes to food security, Guyana looks at food security at a national level. So what is the ministry doing to incorporate the village plans at a national level and not just keeping it at that minute state within the villages? Because I do believe, based on all that is happening in the country, that Indigenous peoples would want to have a foot in that national agenda and not just subjected to a village plan. So that's my question.
Honorable Minister.
Yes, so thank you very much for that question, and through you, Mr. Chair, to the honorable member. What you would have mentioned there, how do we tie into the bigger picture? How do we use these kind of funding that and you're right in what you would have said, in that what's happening right now in villages, it's unprecedented. We have never had this kind of investment going directly to villages before. For example, when we look at the LCDS funding alone, depending on the population size, villages now have oversight for spending of as much as $35 million that they have to spend. And we're also giving them additional funding, and it has been a concern for us, not only myself, but not only under my tenure with Minister Paulins as well, as to the execution. And what we would have done at the ministry is we try as much as possible to, if we see villages are not the council level, that they're not forthcoming in terms of they're behind, and then there's like issues of accountability in villages, we try as much as possible not to give them additional funding until we can be able to sort out the issues they're having before we give them more funding. And we're hoping that and what's happening right now is that if you haven't spent out your first tranche of money, well then, we're skeptical in giving you more money. So you have to come with your receipts, etc. It's not a form of micromanaging. It's not a form of trying to dictate, but it's trying to help villages account for monies. And like we all say, it's all about the taxpayers. It's funded, and so there has to be some amount of accountability as well. And which we have put, and we will continue to put the checks and balance in place. But like I said, on the national scale, we take FPIC very seriously. And everything we do, it's in consultation with villages. And so we can go and, we'll say for villages what we want them to do. They basically say what they want in keeping with FPIC. The NTC too has been providing a lot of support through their project as well in the plans that they're having and in helping us monitor as well. But we do get support. For example, you mentioned the farming projects. And so for those kind of projects, when we execute, we collaborate with NARI, who we have a very good working relationship with. They help us with the technical support in terms of the crop, what type, what would grow in what kind of soil, and then they help us to that technical aspect. And when we're finished, if it's agro-processing, the Guyana Marketing Corporation also puts us into that bigger picture of helping us to get markets depending of where the villages are. And if you would have listened to Minister Zulfi's explanation, we would have heard him say about the hinterland villages too, where the Guyana Marketing Corporation is helping to get markets so that we can be able to be a part of food security and our produce is out there and we have the markets. And so through the Ministry of Agriculture, we do get the help for the technical support and the market.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, just one final question.
ahead.
The minister did mention that there's a monitoring tool that they're using now. Is that there a specific name to that monitoring tool, or just internally it's now being implemented? It's implemented or will be implemented in the future?
Well, we already have that. It's an internal check and balance for us.
Thank
and
you.
it's already, the CDOs have been trained already in how to use this. And as I said, the Ministry of Governance and Efficiency, Governance Implementation Efficiency have been helping us in putting together this. So when the CDOs go out to villages, they can keep track of villages, the images, that's what's on the ground, for the capital works that they're executing, the status of the infrastructural works and so on. So if, for example, we see a project that's at a standstill for about a month, we can then be able to question, well, why is this happening? What can the ministry do to support? Do you need help? Is it logistics concerns? Is it that there is mismanagement in some way? Do we need to send someone to check? And so this will help us greatly.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Dawn Hastings-Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I must commend you for all the projects and the plans that you intend to do with the $5 billion. However, my question, looking at 2025, are we to understand that you only receive 125 village sustainable plans out of the 247? If so, that's my first question. Second, I see you have intentions to get 247 out of 247 this year, which is commendable too. What are the strategies you have in place to ensure that all 247 communities submit their village plans?
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chairman, can I please ask the honorable member to refer to the line item under which the questioning is, she's posing this
Honorable
question?
Member.
It's the same line item 1400100, community development and plans, but I'm looking at volume 2 under the same community development and empowerment.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that question. And like I said, a lot of what we do, we take FPIC very seriously, and it means we have to look at every single village and to really go and to ask the village council to say, what is it that you want? It has to go to a general meeting, and there's a process of them identifying for themselves, not us. So basically, we're saying that the villages themselves come up with these plans. Currently, the National Tushaus Council, they support this, and if you would look on their Facebook page, so you would see that former Tushaus have been going out, training facilitators in helping villages to develop this. And so we're not leaving the villages on their own while we're not dictating. We're helping them to show them, how to go about developing this plan. What's happening right now, I know it's a tall task, but we're up for the task in terms of having all the village sustainable plans in. And as I'm here, I would want to call on all the villages that they take this, as a step in the right direction and help us to help them to have this plan in place so we can be able to know what we have to do.
I do help.
Honorable member.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So can I ask you now, Minister, could you be kind enough to say how many village plans you have to date? How many have you received to date out of the 247?
Honorable Minister.
Yes, so, Mr. Chair, under the LCDS program, I am so advised that in order for us, that for the LCDS, that we'll be basically having these village sustainable plans to see how the villages would want to spend their LCDS. So we look at it when they're requesting money, we're saying, please keep in, you already made your plan, it went to VGM, the village general meeting decided what they wanted. So let's try as much as possible to use your carbon credit funding to be able to fund some of these projects that are within the scope. And like the VP said, we don't expect them to use their LCDS to fund things like roads. That's, the Ministry of Public Works has been doing a really good job in terms of having the hinterland roads and stuff completed. But I'm advised that under the LCDS, 188 is the total number of villages. That was submitted as of December.
Thank you, Minister. MP Williams.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So 188. Did you say 188? Thank
Chair,
you. My other question is, it is also commendable to hear that the villages are now receiving tractors, generators, ATVs, outboard engines, some pickups. Some I know have buses. They have received buses. Now my question.
Go ahead, Honorable Member.
My question to the Honorable Minister. It is good that we are providing these modes of transportation. However, my question, to date, how many young people, whether they are CSOs or any other young people, have you trained so far so that when this ATV breaks down, the generator breaks down, they don't have to fly them out? How many young people have you trained to this date in the areas of these skills, like little motor
Honorable Member,
mechanics?
is this the right line item?
Yes, under the same 5 billion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And as you rightly said, I can only answer for the training that was done under our ministry. And as we all know, there is for example, the WIN program, who also train women. Yes, WIIN, the WIN program, who would train women if there is, for example, garment construction. There's also the Board of Industrial Training, who also do a lot of training in the hinterland. And so those would be captured there. So I can't answer for all the youths in the hinterland, but I can only answer for those that we have trained in our budget in keeping with the Amranian Development Fund. And so to begin, last year, we have trained in small engine repairs. We have trained a total of 100 participants. That's under the CSO program. We've trained 100 in small engine repairs. Of this, what's important to note is 13 were females and 87 were males. And these persons were trained in regions 1, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Garment construction, because as I said, we also gave a little sewing machine here and there, and depending on the request that comes in as well. Garment construction, we would have trained 120 persons. Of this, 7 were male and 113 were female. And these were in regions 1, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tourism and hospitality. We have trained a total of 60 persons. Of this, 15 were male and 45 were females. And this was done in regions 1, 2, 6, 7, 9, and 10. Tractor driving and maintenance. We have trained, last year, we have trained 100 persons in tractor driving. All 100 were males, but in the past, prior year, we have had a few females too who would have been trained before, but I'm going to answer for last year. We have trained in all the regions, we have trained our CSOs in tractor driving and maintenance. Business proposal writing, we have trained 40 young people. Of these, 18 were male and 22 were females. This was done in regions 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Craft production, we have trained a total of 40 CSOs, and this was done, we trained 17 male and 23 females in this area. In regions 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cosmetology, we have trained 20, and all 20 were females. In regions 1, 3, 4, 8, and region 9. That gives us a grand total of 480 CSOs who were trained last year. Of this, 244 were males and 236 were females.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Williams.
She did this and more. She did this and more.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for your answer. I may be guided. I don't know if I can ask this question under the same community development. Yesterday, we heard from Honorable Minister Teixeira that UMDC is not legal. That's Upper Mazaruni District Council, not UDMC, UMDC. Now, to my knowledge, I understand that the two shows had made a request to the ministry. Could you say to this house if you received that request? And do you have any plans to ensure that that body is gazetted during this year? And where can you find funding for that? Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Chair, maybe if the member had been here on time, she would have heard that this would have already been one of the questions posed, and I think I would have answered that question sufficiently, sir.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Ms. Williams. And this will be the final question on the Amerindian affairs.
Mr. Chair, sorry, I had a, Mr. Chair?
Honorable Member, Ms. Amanza Walton.
Thank
Bizi.
you, Mr. Chair. Just a follow-on from what the Honorable Member Hastings asked. Honorable Member outlined an interesting, robust number of persons trained, etc. I was wondering, what is the program to make sure that these persons who are trained are actually employed? Is there a matching? Please, allow me to ask. I understand that.
I'm allowing you to ask.
No, so,
I don't know.
Mr. Chair, my
who's talking.
apologies, my
Okay.
apologies. No, I was just wondering, in terms of, yes, they're CSOs, et cetera, and they're employed in that capacity. Is there any program, I wonder, for them to be matched for the specific type of employment? I'm just asking for information purposes.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So while as she mentioned rightly, the honorable member mentioned that we have these are part of the CSO program, and so the CSO program from its inception, the inception of this program, when it started, it was not something that should be a permanent employment. It's something to help us to build the capacity of young people so they can move on to something much better. And we have had a lot of success stories, as I said in my speech, that we have seen CSOs elevate to whether it's teachers, community health workers, nurses. They've gone on to become two-shows, village leaders. We've had a mayor, a deputy mayor coming out of the CSO program. We have some, in other parts of the public sector, we have CSOs would have trained and would have elevated themselves to other positions. But as I said, not everybody, like for example, is made to be a doctor. There's still some of us who have different abilities. And for me, if you're a tractor driver, you know you have training, you can then go out, get employment with private companies. If you do craft, you can be able to open your own craft business. Cosmetology, we're investing in cosmetology centers. As I mentioned, you can have an employment too at the cosmetology center, where you can be able um, to do private jobs, persons based on the request. Small engine repairs, with the amount of engines that we're giving out to the villages, at some point in time it must break, and these very CSOs will be the one who will be, and of course when they do the repairs outside of their work, they'll have to be they will need to be paid for the services that they're providing. So thanks for the question, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, I am now 2 minutes over the time allocated. We started at 5:57. We're at 6:59. So I now put the question that the sums stated for Agency 16, Program 162, Capital and Current, stand part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stand part of the estimate. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and your staff, for taking us through your ministry and agency. Thank you so much. And let us invite the Honorable Minister of Public Utilities and Aviation, the Honorable Deodat Indar, and his staff to take us through his ministry. I invite honorable members to turn to pages 184 and 185. We're starting at 7 o'clock. Honorable members, I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 341, Policy Development and Administration, current expenditure, stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, I put the question that the sums, honorable member, Mr. Manzo, Walton Lizzie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I will seek your guidance on this matter. This is, of course, a new ministry, and we see a total appropriated sum of 131,723,000. While it's not directly tied to, it's tied to the total appropriated current expenditure. And then there's some other expenditures laid out. I'm interested in the maintenance, the rental of buildings at 26 million. I'm just seeking to confirm that this is the new building that the ministry is renting.
Honorable Minister.
And where is it located?
Mr. Chairman, please forgive my voice. I'm not 100% today.
Seems normal. Mr. Mahipal, honorable member, the voice seems normal.
Thank you to the honorable member for the question. Indeed, this ministry is a new ministry. The building that we occupy was a building that was rented by the Ministry of Natural Resources. And we went into the building and we have extended that rental And this is the cost associated with that rental for this budget year.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Minister. It's a follow-on, and
Go ahead.
I want to say to the honorable member in there that this is, I'm not trying to do gotcha here at all. Just literally trying for us to understand the role of your new ministry and how does this program 341 interface with the other programs, and what are the mechanisms for monitoring and evaluation that you intend to put in place, given that you are coordinating a rather significant ministry that's comprised of a number of statutory agencies, etc.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much for the question. So maybe I can give a flavor to what we are doing at the ministry so that the understanding of coordinating efforts can be shared. So the ministry has a total budget of 140 billion capital spend between the various agencies. Those agencies, let's say for example, MARAD, Maritime Administration, they have their own office, their own board and so on. GWI, same thing. They have their own office, their own board, their own management. GPL, same story. They have their own board, their management, their own buildings. The only people that are in this office is the secretariat staff, the director general that sits here with me, Mr. Alfonso de Armas, he's at the ministry. We have the MP, who is Tanai McAllister. We have the aviation advisor, and we have the hinterland airstrips engineers, about 6 to 8 of them. The building cannot accommodate more people. Because of a shortage of government buildings and rising rent in the city, I believe that we actually got this at a deal.
Thank you for that, Mr. Chair. I have a follow-on. The Director General, and forgive me because I didn't research, what are the specific functions of the Director General vis-a-vis a PS, for example?
So Mr. Vishal Ambikar is the PS, recently appointed. Mr. Alfonso was appointed similar time as me in September of last year. His job is really to assist me and the ministry with the operations aspect of it. This ministry, as you said, is a large ministry, some of the major transformative projects around here. And as we examine the estimates as we go on, you will see them. So we need the help as a management in terms of overseeing the various sectors that we have, whether it's maritime affairs, aviation services, water and expansion, whether it's we do assist the Prime Minister's office with managerial functions with gas to energy as well, all those other things that we're doing with at Wales. We also have hinterland electrification on those too. So there's a lot of moving parts. And because this ministry deals with a lot of technical areas, a lot of complex things, the position of Director General is welcome. Mr. Alfonso is a earned professional, very astute person, and I value his service to the country.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a follow-up comment. I really agree with you in terms of the technical density of the ministry that you carry. You referenced the MP that I know has a particular maritime expertise, and the other gentleman that does aviation. Is it your intention that these persons within your office will function as the focal points for the various sectors so that your coordination comes together?
Well, thank you, Honorable Member, for the question. So that is exactly it. Okay. So Mr. Alfonso has been on the board of GWI for some time. He has very intimate knowledge of that sector. Not that that is his only function, but he has intimate knowledge of that sector, so I rely on him. Mr. Andai McAllister, who is our Guyana's IMO rep, the International Maritime Organization rep for Guyana, is the MP. So I rely on her for all matters pertaining to the maritime sector. Mr. Schumann is an aviation advisor. I rely on him and others at the GCA for aviation regulations, aviation, the entire apparatus in the country, I rely on them for that aspect of it. So you are right, persons that are in the ministry have specific functions in the at the enterprise level, whether it's in water, whether it's in power generation and so on, aviation
Thank you.
and maritime.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to, and I'll end by just saying that I personally haven't worked across those sectors. I'm very happy to see this carve out in terms of a ministry because they're very weighty areas and they could do with specialized attention that I hope your ministry, your new ministry, will bring. Mr. Chair, that is it for me.
Oh, thank you,
Sorry.
thank you.
Honorable Member, Mr. Andrews.
Mr. Chair, I noticed, I just wanted to ask a question on the rental. This contract, what is the duration of this contract?
Well, yeah, so we are at the last month of the Ministry of Natural Resources contract period, and we are gonna do it, we're gonna extend it, but we are already in negotiation with them.
How long do you plan to extend this?
Well, I could tell you, if I can get it to go 3 years, I'll take it at this rate.
The reason, just to follow up, the reason I'm asking is because we are building 4 buildings on the Hague-Bosch Government Complex buildings, and I was under the impression that the ministry that you control would be one of the ministries going into those.
When we
those
were at
buildings.
Public Works, that was the thinking.
Yes, okay.
When we was at Public Work, that was the thinking. As you know, circumstances change, and the government has now created this ministry to specifically look at development in the various sectors that fall under the remit. Now, I will say this to you in the greatest of respect. The GCAA has a building that they've been renting, and the man wanted to increase the rent to a figure that they wouldn't even want to call on this floor. But literally, it's so high that it pushes you out of the city. So if I get a rental rate like this, I would be encouraged, and you should be encouraged to want us to take it because we will not have to strain taxpayers further if we are to stay in the city or go to another place in the city. So as I said to you, we will want to have this as long as the owner would like to give it to us.
One other question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
So I know it's a new ministry, and like you mentioned, your staff count is very limited. But I noticed line item 6264, vehicle spares and service. That's 11,250,000.
Where's that one?
Yeah, $11,250,000. I'm just wondering, with that limited staff count, a new ministry, how many vehicles are in this fleet, and what kind of vehicles are we buying spares for that kind of amount?
Well, you wanna hear a funny thing? This ministry on the books have 0 staff. Because the minister's 2 staff that I had from the time I was appointed, my secretary and my admin assistant, 2 drivers that came from Public Works. That is what I ran this ministry on, and you can see the kind of work that this ministry put out. We're only running with that. But there were 3 vehicles there, 4 actually, and then the DG got a vehicle, and we intend to get some for field work in the year, maybe another 4 pickup to go in the fields, because a lot of our work deals with hinterland electrification, well drilling, and we had to go and inspect hinterland airstrips. So that money is to deal with the repair and maintenance of those vehicles.
About 10.
So there's not, so there's not a huge fleet. We're very nimble.
Thank you,
Thank
Minister. Honorable Member, Honorable Members, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 341, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Members, let us turn to page 529.
Where's cash?
And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 341, Capital, stands part of the estimates. Honorable Member, Ms. Amanza Walton Desir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want us to look at it's a small allocation of $5 million. And I'm curious as to if the minister could say to us, why would a policy coordination unit responsible for all of these sectors, electricity, water, aviation, um, why no investment in policy systems, software to help to monitor and track and to maintain the nimbleness that you spoke about? What I'm saying is that 5 million seems a very small sum given all that you have to do.
Thank you. I'm glad to see that we work with a little. So, thanks for the question. Thanks for the question. So, Honorable Member, that is just for the office equipment and those things we need to totally outfit the office, that 5 million. But systems that we develop to monitor are done through the Ministry of Governance and Implementation, which is a massive system that government has rolled out to deal with dashboard, to monitor projects for every agency under our remit. So that is a central system, and we feed off of that system. If we need anything to deal with any kind of other IT related, we use NDMA's resources. So we don't have the budget for that in here. But that does not preclude us from having the tools to get the work done.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Maipo. No, sir. Honorable Member, I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 341 Capital, stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Let us go back to pages 186 and 187. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 342, current, stands part of the estimates. I now put a question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program
Mr.
342, Ms. Amanza
Yes, sir.
Walton Desir.
Yes, sir. I wanted to look at line item 6321, subsidies and contributions to local organizations. And when we look beyond that to the subsidies, I specifically wanted to hone in on the agencies, as the minister said, under his sector, their electricity services, 342, there is the Ghana Power and Light, the Hintland Electrification, Kokwani, Lethem Power Company, a number of agencies. Mr. Chair, what I wanted to find out from the Honorable Minister, if he could indicate the specific purpose for which the subsidy to GPL is provided in this 2026 budget. Is it intended to support operational costs, fuel? What is the breakdown of that subsidy to GPL that is 25 billion?
Thank you. Thank you, member, for that question. So on the page 490, details of subsidies and contribution to local organizations. The details of that $33,313,253 is explained. So 25,800,000,000 is for GPL.
Right.
And it directly relates to the fuel subsidies that we give to GPL. Mind you, you have known that fuel price fluctuate and it's been on the rise year on year and counting. So GPL budgets at a break-even point around $70 per barrel. Anything above that, it puts GPL at a loss position. So fuel is traded all the time at a high. Right now is the average for last year is by $83. Now for every dollar increase in fuel, it costs GPL $543 million. Every dollar fuel goes up by costs GPL $543 million, simply because of the amount that is used. 93% of the fuel that is used at GPL is heavy fuel oil, and the LFO makes up the other 7%. Total together, it's about $47 billion per annum that we spend on fuel alone. It represents the lion's share of generation costs. So because of that, and we as a government did not increase fuel on nobody in the country, we subsidize the fuel, and that is the figure there. It's not the full amount, it's a subsidy, it's part of the total cost.
And it's only to subsidize the fuel
For fuel,
differential?
for fuel only.
Okay. Thank you.
Do you want me to say
Honorable
the other
member,
subsidies,
Mr.
honorable member?
Andrews.
Mr. Chair,
Honorable member, Mr. Andrews.
Yeah,
Chair
Mr.
is
Chair.
here.
Could the honorable minister say if that is the case with the other agencies?
Like which one?
Like for instance, when we look at the Morocco Power Company, their subsidy in 2024 through the Office of the Prime Minister was 228,376. This year, it's budgeted for 545 million, an increase of 316 million.
Which page you looking at?
Same line item.
That's not Maruka. Maruka was never under the.
Mabaruma, sorry, Mabaruma.
Okay, it's
Mabaruma
it's only
Power
now Maruka's come on board. Okay.
Mabaruma Power Company, sorry. Yes, but to be specific,
Maruka only came on.
sir, Mr. Chair,
I'm listening to
I'm
you.
speaking about Mabaruma Power Company.
And your question is the
My
same situation with GPL?
My question was if the same thing obtained with GPL in terms of the subsidy.
So the scenario is not the same, but the money is for fuel. So the scenario, as I painted with GPL, is not the same for these small power companies. So let's go. So Mabaruma, 545 million. It's for fuel. But every part of the country that receives fuel receives it at a different price, as you would know. Fuel at a point, I have to be transported. The transportation cost makes up for the difference in costs at the various spots. Let them be in the most expensive. Right, so it is not the same, but all of the monies here are for fuel except for Kwakwani. Kwakwani, because it's not just a power company, it's more other utilities, water and other things. The subsidy for Kwakwani represents fuel and other areas because it doesn't act as just a power company. And we have in there for Kwakwani how much? 95, how much is Kwakwani there? 998 million.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I have one.
Go ahead,
Mr. Chair,
Honorable
through
member,
you.
Ms. Desir.
The Linden Electricity Company, and this is a policy question that I have. I want to know whether the minister can confirm that it remains the policy of your ministry and the government for the Linden Electricity Company to continue operating as a distinct electricity service provider in Linden, serving Linden?
So,
Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the question that she asked about Linden, first let me say, for the purpose of the records, Linden receives power from both sides. And Londoners pay a tariff of $5 per kilowatt hour for residential, $12 kilowatt for commercial, and they have about 271 pensioners there. We have, in this budget, have about 4,768,631 dollars there to subvent the fuel. It has always been that way. Now, with the expansion of the grid, what we are doing, we want to make sure that we, first of all, the cost that we pay to both sides is very high. And we sell it back very low to the consumers. With the expansion of GPL's grid and using gas as a feedstock, we intend to move the grid towards Linden, towards Wismar. So from Garden of Eden, it is not on this year, but from Garden of Eden, moving up to Linden and over to Wismar, we will run 230 kV lines so that you can take bulk power. So everybody around the highway going all those housing schemes, development on the highway in Linden as well, because as you know, because electricity is cheap in Linden, they have about 19 plus sawmills. All of the sawmills go and set up there with the high-speed motors because they pay a lower rate. So they go there to operate. So if we are to continue, we want to use gas as a feedstock, which is much cheaper than the HFO. We will run the power lines to take the power to Linden. In the Amila project, it is designed to bring the power from the Amila Falls routing through Linden, coming to Garden of Eden. That was a transmission line to bring it through Linden. So now we have gas placed at Linden. You can run it across the Garden of Eden and then take it up to Linden. But you can drop off the power at various points so that you can have industrialization happen throughout the Linden Highway.
So that very detailed explanation simply tells me that the government plans eventually not to have the Linden Power Company the electricity company as a distinct entity. I want to ask the minister then, can you assure this?
No, but honorable member, I don't want anyone to go about thinking that we are closing down Linden Electrification Company. That is not the case. That is not what I said.
No, I'm not suggesting
Okay.
that is what you said. What I'm about to ask is whether you could assure us that any of the future changes affecting LEC will be preceded by consultation and full transparency with the community.
Yeah, we have always done that. And I could tell you the folks up in Lynn Avery, Trim and the team, they are doing a fantastic job. Now, I want to also say to you that although we are moving power from the grid, BOSA itself is putting in solar energy because they need to grapple with the demand. The demand moved from 8 megawatts to 12 and counting. We are building 15 megawatts of solar power, and one in Retrieve, one in Dakar on Block 37. So that's 15 megawatts of power will be added to the grid there. Those are grid tie systems. So the entire corridor will have enough power for the development in housing, for the development of commercialization, for all that is happening on the highway right now. We have to power that.
And
Thank you, Minister.
Sorry,
Honourable
Mr.
member,
Chair,
go ahead.
my apologies. And the measures that will be put in place to cushion the cost shocks that may, because as a Lindener, we know electricity at one rate. There will be systems in place to cushion that rather than
Gas to energy project is designed to drop costs.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Designed to cut it by half, not take it up.
Cut it by half.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 342, current expenditure stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it, the sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Honorable members, let us turn to page 529. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 342, Capital, stands part of the estimates. The Honorable Member, Mr. Mahipon.
Thank you, Comrade Chairman. Comrade Chairman, if I may turn the minister's attention to project code 2609800, Energy Matrix Diversification Program, a sum of $2 billion, and the specific is 1.7. We are putting 300 million towards this project, which is a project that was initiated and conceptualized in 2019, the 1st of January 2019, with a planned duration until December of 2027, sorry. So the project, which entails the installation of mini grid system in Bartica, Madi and Letem, the upgrading of Sophia substation, the rehabilitation of transmission lines, institutional strengthening and capacity building. May I ask the Honorable Minister to provide this House with an update on this program that's begun in 2019, please?
Honorable Minister.
Honorable Chairman, you can never accuse the Honorable Member of not being a very astute politician. But I know which tree is barking up. Mr. Speaker, Bartica solar mini grid is in place and working, integrated with the power system that they have in Bartica. Right? There are others under the energy matrix that are completed and some that we're still working on. But in that sum, there was a project called the Line 5 from Kingston, the corridor from Kingston to Sophia. So power is generated in Kingston, about 55 megawatts, thereabout, and it's transmitted to Sophia where it's dispatched across the country. The upgrade of that line is what is part of that project. It's currently being constructed, albeit delays. We intend to get it done, but that is one of the projects. And the other one is line 1 and line 3, which is on the East Bank corridor. Mr. Speaker, there was a time when there's a lot of trip that is happening on the East Bank corridor, and I want everybody to know. The problem there is because of the development on that one side. The transmission line was only designed to take about 6 megawatts of power. Sometimes the transmission load there be 8 and 12 megawatts. So because of the heat, any little thing trips it. This spending was to have alternatives so that we can able to take off power from that line and offload it into other transmission line to bring the power from Garden of Eden back to Georgetown. This project has that inside, right? Completed? No, this is the tender. 60% completed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, may I turn the minister's attention to project code 2606700, hinterland electrification, $500 million.
Go ahead.
And it speaks to upgrading electricity systems in the hinterland areas, specific to region 1, 8, and 10. May I ask the Honorable Minister which communities within these regions are likely to receive electricity under this expenditure?
Honorable Minister.
You got it? Please bear with me, Honorable Member.
I am.
Honorable Chairman.
So please allow me to give the disaggregation of that amount to which projects it will fund. So the first thing at Port Kaituma Matthews Ridge, we have 77 million for the installation of new switch gears. This is to accommodate the generators, the additional generators that are going there. and the 6,400 businesses and households that we have up there. So the first area, two areas, Matthews Ridge and Port Kaituma for switch gears. Another 60 million for the installation of a 1.1 megawatt generator at Mabaruma. There's 1,364 businesses and households there. Third is the installation of a 1.1 megawatt generator at Kwakwani Power Station. There's 1,266 between businesses and household there to the cost of 60 million. Citrus Grove and 1 Mile Road, Port Kaituma, the extension of the network of $20 million. Campbelltown Airstrip in Madiam, the extension of the network, another $30 million there. There's 60 unserved households and government buildings in that area. We have 10 million for the upgrade of the electricity network at Matthews Ridge. This is to improve the power supply for 172 between businesses and households. Upgrade of primary circuit and three-phase from Osororo to Wauna, another 30 million to deal with that project. Then there's the installation of a 500 kV power transformer to replace the old one at Maruka for 25 million. Now, let me say about Maruka. Maruka was under the RDC, now it's under the hinterland electrification. So now Maruka is under public utilities. Moving on, a 450 kV generator related switchgear at Maruka for $55 million. We have to upgrade the facility, very unreliable. Double cab truck from Madia, Port Kaituma, Kwakwani. What we have is a problem. Every time you have an outage, you gotta go find, we don't have a high end. We got to get a tractor. We got to go do all kind of thing to fix those lines. So we asked for, listen, we asked for three of it, one for Madia, one for Port Kaituma, and one for Kwakwani.
You're making it sound
Then
yesterday.
we don't have vehicles for the hinterland electrification, guys. We asked for two for all of the regions that we serve, the 8 power plants for 30 million, right? So that is it. And then we have a final retention payment for the contractor B&J after we have completed the Kato Hydro that now powering the Kato area, all 32 buildings that they have there. That is the figure for 500 million.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, may I just have a quick
Go ahead.
follow-up on that particular answer? Can the Honorable Minister say if all of these communities that he has listed are in receipt of 24 hours electricity currently, which is what they are seeking to upgrade in terms
Honorable
of the better
Minister.
electricity supply?
I am told all of the areas receive 24-hour supply of electricity except for Matthews Ridge, who gets 17 hours.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable Member, Mr.
Miss-
Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Very quickly on project code 260-6700, the same hinterland electrification. Could the Honorable Minister confirm that there's a 450 kV generator being bought from Maruka at the cost of 55 million?
Is that
Did I hear correctly?
Two. It's a two.
Two for 55 million.
Is that what it said? With a switchgear. 2 generators with a switchgear as well.
Okay,
Thank you,
it was a
Minister.
bit astounding to me. Thank you for the clarification. Let me move on to,
Is here.
pardon?
Sorry, you want to
I
follow
think
up?
Mr. Campbell had a follow-up.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Project code-
Before you move on, Honorable Member, Mr. Chairman, the figure includes the costs for transport and to take to the spot to install.
Right. No, thank you. Originally, when you spoke, you said 450 kV for 55 million.
No, it's-
And that struck
Okay,
me.
we have the clarification.
But the
Let's move on.
clarification
Let's
is
move on,
accepted.
Honorable Member.
Yeah. Project code 261-1300, electricity expansion program, for $66 billion. I see that it includes generation of electricity. So I wanted some disaggregation of that figure. And how does that, the second part to that question, how does that tie in with, because there's also some transmission upgrades, $10 billion that is coming through the gas to energy project under the Office of the Prime Minister. So I'm trying to figure how these two things link with each other.
Well, I don't know, Chairman,
Go ahead, Honorable
I
Minister.
think today I anticipated this question. So today I walk with the printout from the office of the Prime Minister that he read out, and I make sure I checked it back against mine to make sure that we are clear. So let me go. So the 66 billion in $66.2 billion include the following. EPC, double circuit 69 river crossing on the underground transmission line between Freedom and Kingston, $2.8 billion. Let me explain. The line that moves power from Kingston, Freedom and bring it to, from Freedom and bring it over to Kingston, and vice versa, moves only 7 megawatts of power. It is old. It's at actually 6 meters drop depth, right on the floor. When the gas to energy kicks in and anything happens with that line, the power is trapped there. We decided that we need a ring circuit. So we're putting a cable there to move about 180 to 200 megawatts of power. That's the first one. Substation expansion for a cable. So when you bring that cable with so much power, you have to increase the capacity of the substation at Loop and the substation in Georgetown. That there is $1 billion. Construction of a total of 193 kilometers, 28 separate feeders of 13.8 kV feeder lines across various parts of the country, $2.2 billion. That's 193 kilometers, 28 feeders. That'll tell you the complexity and the amount of work this agency has. Supply of 2 35 MVA 69 kV mobile substation. Mr. Chairman, whenever a truck runs into a pole, feeds back on the substation, it damages the equipment. You can't fix it right away. So we bought one substation already, we're buying 2 more substations. So you could bring these substations, move on some trucks, and you could hook it up whilst you fix the problem. Construction of a total of 42 kilometers, 5 separate feet of 69,000 volts line, 4 69,000 13.8 step-down substations with 17 feeders, 6 km per feeder. That is $9.8 billion. Supply and installation of advanced metering system to 20,000 AMI meters. Upgrade and expansion of 2 69 step-down to 13.8 kV substation, another $2.2 billion. EPC, construction of substation transmission lines and reactive power reinforcements within regions 4 and 6. This is $14.1 billion. EPC, construction of substation transmission line and reactive power within region 5, $7.3 billion. Construction of a 69 double circuit transmission line between New Georgetown and Sophia, $235 million. Supply and installation of a 30 megawatt, 60 megawatt hour battery energy storage system, $3.3 billion. Mr. Speaker, I want to explain this one a little. This battery system is to deal with current fluctuations. Sometimes when you get shut down, it's because of overcurrent and undercurrent. The grid is very unreliable. So this battery system is to inject that voltage to make sure you have even voltage across the grid. Very important to the grid. Project management consultancy, $816 million. Owners Engineers Services. GT system integration with the National Control Center. This one is for a company called ITSS of $31 million. This is the integration, a very highly specialized piece of job. Substation integration with the GN, the National Control Center, and the grid of another $58 million. Saifang is a brand. GTE substation integration with the control center and the grid of $16 million. Saifang is a particular kind of relay we use. Power plant integration between Guyana National Control Center to a company called SEL for $78 million. There is some monies for land acquisition. At this point is $194 million. Because of the lines that we construct, they go on people's places, We have to deal with them to acquire the land to put the transmission line down. We have projects in Legwan and Wakenham, the interconnection from the grid, from the solar into the grid, about 904 million, right? Repairs to Bartica system. The battery is grid following, is not grid forming. So we have to repair the battery. You learned something there, Mr. Mahan.
We knew that all the time. Now you learn it.
Sophia upgrade to new system. Sophia upgrade to the new system, construction of a 69,000 volts transmission line to increase land capacity. That is something that we are going to tender for about $30 million. Sorry, what? That was much? It says 30, yes. Smart grid preparation, $64 million. Upgrade tie-in line between Kingston 1 and Kingston 2. They call it DP1 and DP2 and DP3, $60 million. Upgrade of 13,800 volts switchgear at Kingston, that is $572 million. Upgrade of the 13.8 switchgear at DP3. Correct. $2.1 billion. Legwan power plant switchgear upgrade, $440 million. Unserved areas electrification, $612 million. We also are working to make sure that the other areas that don't have power, and we have to carry power to accommodate industrialization, new housing schemes, second depth, third depth land development, as we have to take power into those areas that people have houses, businesses. We are working with a company to finance that development. So we put an amount of 15 billion in this year's budget to deal with all of that. Those are the areas, like, for example, bringing the power from Linden down to Gardner Eden, and all of those things form part of a big package. Essequibo, he asked the question, I give you the answer. Essequibo course is 60 kilometers from Supernam to Charity. The line there is 13,800 volts. And just like every other line, the longer the line, the voltage just go down. We have to carry it up to 69,000 volts. That is one of the major projects under that as well too. And various other T&D extension in Westminster's housing scheme, Tushin, Lookout on the east bank of Essequibo, and a whole host of others. If I continue, we'll spend the rest of the night here.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, Mr. Manza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to, but in the interest of time, I'll skip that one. I've heard the minister explicate about the billions of dollars that we're going to have expended. Yet it seems to me that a rat can bite a wire, and we get a notice that the Demerara-Berbice interconnected system is shut down. What protections are we putting in place with all of these billions of dollars so that a Yauri can plunge the entire system into black?
Honorable Chairman, the honorable member, now we were going good all along. And I can respond to that in a snide way too. But I'll say this to you, that these investments is to correct all of those problems, not the rat problem or the man problem or the truck problem. The problem with, let me explain to you what happens with this grid. It seems to me we believe we pull two generators and attach two cars, you will get this thing
Honorable
done.
Minister, if
Not
you
that.
don't want to listen, explain to me.
Mr. Speaker, we were going good all the time.
You might get better sound if you sit. You'll be closer to the mic.
2016, 14 shutdowns. 2017, 25 shutdowns. 2018, 12 shutdowns. 2019, 5 shutdowns. 2020, 2 shutdowns. 2021, 13 shutdowns. Total from those, just those years.
Mr.
On an average. How much shutdowns we have on average?
We had 50 shutdowns.
Last year.
2023, we had 62 shutdowns. 2024, we had
So I'm
94
saying to you,
shutdowns.
this problem precedes all of us here. The grid, the speed in which demand is rising, the grid cannot accommodate it, Mr. Chairman. You have, right now, in 2020, you had 200,000 persons on the grid. Now you have 244,000. 44,000 people has been added to the grid. The speed in which we are investing, the demand is outstripping it. That is why we ask for all of these, as the honorable member say, billions. And it's still, we have to fix it. Let me explain to you. If a rat goes into a transformer that steps up 30 megawatts into the grid, it will bring down the entire grid. If a truck jams the wire and it feeds back into the substation and the substation shut down, the entire line that carries, if it's 20, 30 megawatts, comes down, it collapses the whole system. That is what you've been dealing with for years. This investment is to fix it. If you have a stronger backbone, which is what we're doing, the list that I read out, the backbone of the grid is now 230,000 volts. It's not 69,000 volts. It's 230,000 volts. It makes it more resilient. The other part of it is that the engines that you use in Guyana is what you call reciprocating engine. They step up. The load it generates because it's injectors, so it steps up. It takes a while to step up. So when it shuts down, it takes a while to step up. What we are doing is we are switching the technology into turbine technology. So the gas comes to a turbine with a whole lot of gears. It works 8 to 6 times faster than a reciprocating engine. So if you have a shock to the system, it pushes back the power quickly. So you won't have these kind of shutdowns. So the investment is to deal with those problems.
Thank you, honorable member, for that. I think it's
you,
important that the people of Guyana understand exactly where the taxpayers' money is going. I note that you were quick to know the number of shutdowns that you had within a particular period of time, but we will also recall that your government was in power for 20-something years before that.
Honorable member,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No more questions.
Mr. Chair,
Honorable member, Mr. Andrews.
Mr. Chair, the same program we're at. The question is, I'm happy for the upgrades. We really need it. But over a 3-year period, this will cost us almost $1.1 billion US, that is. The question is, what percentage, expansion aside, what percentage of our grid would be upgraded as a result of this investment?
Mr. Chairman, this is the whole grid.
Thank you, sir.
This is moving bulk power.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm happy that it's the entire grid.
Honorable member, Mr. Duncan.
Thank you very much.
Falling
Thank you
apart.
very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to follow up on the Honorable Amanzo Walton-Zier's question, and then I have another question on the line item here. The Honorable Minister was so gracious to put some of the figures over the pre-2020 period. I want to refer to the 2024 Public Utility Commission's report, which said in that very year they had missed 7 of 8 key performance standards, covering outage frequency, outage duration, system losses, and other core services matrix. Hours of power outages in just the previous year. I'm looking forward to see what the other report looks like. But Mr. Speaker, more closely to the 2606600 Latem Power Company, I wanted to ask the learned minister of the energy mix currently that obtains in Latem under that line item.
So,
Honorable Minister.
Latem, we have a mixture of 2.2 megawatts of Letem and the periphery, 2.2 megawatts of hydropower at Kumu and Mokomoko. That feeds into the area. Then we have 1 megawatt of solar energy that ties into the grid. How much we have on the thing? And diesel generators, 2.3 megawatts from the power company itself. Right, so that's 4, 4.5, around 5, in excess of 5 megawatts. There at Letem. So that's the mix. We have what? Hydropower, solar power, and diesel, fossil energy.
A follow-up, Mr. Chair. Am I accurate in hearing that Kumu is on the grid now? Kumu Hydro?
Yeah, both of them.
The follow-up to there is, there was an expectation that when when this mix comes together, there would have been a reduction in the cost of electricity in Letem. Has that been done?
So, Mr. Chairman, there are few places already enjoying a rate cut about 30%. Where is it? Madia, Port Kaichuma, Machus Ridge, by 30%. The other areas that have grid tie and so on, the discussion is ongoing on the same kind of treatment to those areas that have tie-in and solar and so on. The discussion is ongoing.
So no is the answer.
The discussion, I said 3 areas already enjoying rate cuts. Mr. Chairman,
We're specific to
3
9.
areas are already enjoying rate cuts. The other areas are already on this, there's discussion already on the calculation and so on. It's an ongoing process. And when that time comes, I guess our head of state will make that announcement.
Thank you, Minister. I heard you quite well. Apparently, some people like repetition.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Honorable Member, Mr.
Follow.
Duncan.
Minister, I think you said the total energy mix there would give you 5 megawatts?
Over 5 megawatts.
Over 5. Are we at full capacity in terms of the distribution?
Honorable Minister.
What's the demand up there? 2 point something? How much? 2.5 megawatts is the demand. That means that's at peak. That's the demand for the area. So your question about full what?
Full capacity.
Full capacity. Our capacity is above the demand. So we have spinning, or we call reserve capacity.
Thank you, Minister.
Final follow-up.
Mr. Duncan.
Minister, do you have a general sense of perhaps how many homes does 2.5 megawatts breaks down to?
5.5 megawatts will give you about 40,000 homes.
Thank you.
That is when one of the feeders come off. There's amount of people lose power.
Thank you, Minister. Honorable members, I now put the question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 342, Capital Expenditure, now stands part of the estimates. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. The sum stated now stands part of the estimates. Members now turn to pages 188 and 89. And I propose the question that the sum stated for Agency 34, Program 343, Water Services, current expenditure, now stands part of the estimates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And we recognize former Minister Sheikh Baksh in the well.
Yeah.
You gotta pause the clock.
And we have 35 minutes remaining. You have a faulty clock? Must be the erratic power supply.
6310.
And yet they may want to vote for the amount.
Honorable members, I already put,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
go ahead, Honorable Member, Mr. Jordan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, to the Honorable Minister, line item 6321, I see a lump sum subsidy for GWI, $1.8 billion. Mr. Chair, I am trying to understand the proportion of population receiving water supply via treatment plant. Could the Honorable Minister explain? I'm seeing in your performance indicator that 98.6% of the population is receiving treated water, but 90
Where did you get an honorable member?
volume 2. Your signature is right there, sir.
Did it say treated or access?
I don't think he was finished with the question, you know.
Yeah, correct.
That was just the preamble.
Yeah. Right. Sir, I'm trying to understand when our hinterland, 94% of the hinterland is receiving water. Well, they're now receiving potable water. And I just want to take a small percentage of the coastland, which is region 5 and 6. A large percentage of region 5 and 6 is not yet receiving treated water. How did we arrive at 98% of the country of this population receiving treated water?
Well, you know, you
Go ahead,
sure
Minister.
you're reading? I don't know. I'm telling you.
All right,
It
let me
says
read.
access to water. 98.3.
9.6. Okay, number 4, proportion of population receiving water via a water treatment plant. Let me see that. 98.6%. And for 2026, you have 99%. So I'm trying to understand how many treatment plants do we have across the country?
Sir.
So, could you find it for me? But let me just restate the facts that I know it, and as Mr. Bashas reconfirm it. 98% is for access to water. In the hinterland, we have 96% access to water. On the coastland, we have how much? 98% access. The treatment part of it on the coastland is about 80% now, right? It's about 80% on the coastland. That's when we're now putting in the treatment plants.
Mr. Chair, I am kind of, Mr. Chair, at number 4, the book, and if you can follow with me, sir.
Okay, give me the page, I'll follow
On
with you.
page 160, it states proportion of population receiving water supply via a water treatment plant is 98.6. And I am saying 90% of region 5 alone.
Which page you reading from there?
Page 160, sir. And if I take region 5 alone, sir, we have only one water treatment plant. So region 5 alone failed the test. Georgetown, we still getting this Marby thing since it was about.
Don't get riled up, comrade.
Okay, please allow the Honorable Minister to have access to the information which falls under his ministry.
Where is he reading from, man? I don't know.
Volume 2, page 160.
Here's volume 2. Oh. I don't have it here. I don't have it with me. Sorry. Maybe that's an inverted typographic, but let me restate the facts. In the regions, we have 98%. 98%. So 98% on the coastland, 96% in the hinterland.
Mr. Chair,
That is access.
Mr. Chair.
That is access. Oh, there's two things. Hold on. There's two things. There's access and there's treated water. So I'm giving you the access. The treated water now, 80% on the coastline and how much on the hinterland? We're now advancing that program but the difference is, comrade, the difference is in the hinterland in Region 9 and Region 8 and those places, when you go and you drill the well, the water doesn't have the iron content as you have on the coast. It's like you're drinking treated water. I've been there. I went to Karasaba and everything. You drink it from there. Right? So on the coastline is where the treatment plant is needed to rid the iron content.
Mr.
Honorable
Chair.
Member, Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chair, I spent 11 years at GWI. And I'm trying to understand what the minister is telling me. If it is water via water treatment plant, you cannot tell me nowhere in the hinterland is receiving treated water, Mr. Speaker.
We just said
Mr. Chair,
that.
no. Allow me, Honorable Minister. The Honorable Minister clarified, but in clarifying, it is still not accurate, sir, based on the hinterland population and that of many of the regions. If you're speaking about water access via water treatment plant, it must be those customers who are directly linked to a distribution main within the network of a water treatment system.
Correct.
And sir, if we do that calculation across the country, we are not even at 8%. I mean, I know the stats we have to believe what we are told, but my calculation might be different.
I